Hi everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live today. My name is Alyssa and I'm the Marketing Manager here at Katoomba, and I'm so pleased to be welcoming back Malcolm Gibbons from Salon Business Coach today. Hey Malcolm.
Hey Alyssa, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
I'm good. Yeah.
That's good. That's what I want to hear. Cool. So
Yeah.
before we kick into today's session, I just thought, obviously we've known each other for years and we have chatted on here before, but I just thought it might be nice for you to kind of tell, everyone watching a little bit about yourself and about what you do before we kind of get picking
Sure.
into it,
Okay. I'll do my best. I'll see if I can
Yeah.
remember who I am and what I do. As Alyssa said,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, please jump in if you think I've missed something out that you know about me that I don't. I'm Malcolm, and I've been in the hairdressing and beauty industry for, don't really like to say it, but it's over 30 odd years. About 10 years ago, I was saying over 25 years, so I guess it's upwards of 35 years. And in the last 10 years or so, I've been helping salons grow and pretty much going from chaos to control. And that's it in a nutshell, really. Had my own salons, had successful salons, worked in a vertical market in the industry, worked on the other side of the industry, on the supplier side of the industry. So I felt that I had a really good grounding in being able to go out and just help people, travel through the pitfalls of owning a salon or owning a business, and showing them a different way and a new way or a better way to get what they want to achieve. So yeah, pretty much that's what I do.
I think that was brilliant. I didn't need to add anything to
that. Start from
and the perfect person, obviously, to be here today to talk about going from chaos to control, obviously. That's what you do. So we've got Malcolm here today to really chat about that and about the kind of key three things that he really thinks that salons and spas need to focus on in order to really take control and be able to grow your business. And so we're going to chat through those three things today. I'll kind of ask questions as we go along if I've got them. And if anyone watching does have a question as well, do put them in the comments below and I'll ask Malcolm those as we go too. Cool. All right, so the first area that salon and spa owners need to focus on, Malcolm.
Well, I guess, before I jump into the first area or the three key areas, I think we have to kind of put a little bit of a context around it. And I think most people, or I won't talk about most people, I'll talk about what I observe. And what I've observed over the years of being in the industry is that salon owners are not necessarily salon owners by choice for being a business owner. They're salon owners because they've progressed from being a stylist and they've thought, hey, I could do this for myself. I really want to do something for myself. I want to do something for my clients. And so they kind of progress into owning a salon. And what they end up with is a low-paid full-time job with a business attached to it. And it becomes very chaotic very quickly. And I know we've only got about 30 minutes today, so I'm summarising a lot of what I would normally talk about. But hopefully I'll give you enough for you to get an idea of what I'm on about and then some of the fixes that we can apply. So I guess when they first go into business, they're a hairdresser with a business or with a hair salon. And it can end up being chaotic very quickly because you all of a sudden go from just having to look after your clients as a stylist in a salon, and that's really your focus, and then going home and living your life, to someone that's wearing many, many hats as a business owner. And I don't think that a lot of people realise just how much is involved in owning a business. So I guess going from chaos to control is going from a salon owner, a hairdresser that owns a salon, into a business owner in the business of hairdressing. And it's a different mindset. So the first sort of thing we need to acknowledge is that we have to probably start to address our mindset and change how we think about who we are and what we're doing. That's not one of the three key areas, but it probably encompasses the whole of becoming a business owner in the business of hairdressing. I kind of people that I work with, generally they end up saying at some stage in the first few times that we're talking is that, well, to be honest, Malcolm, I've been winging it for quite a while, and they get all sheepish. So I guess, for me, it's like, okay, cool. So now you acknowledge you've been winging it, so you don't know what you don't know. So let's start to look at, well, what is it that you need to actually start to think about? And so as far as going from chaos to control, you need to go from not knowing to understanding and knowing. And when you understand and know, there is a certain path that you can take. And so I've kind of determined over the many years that there are 3 really key areas that we need to work on, and we need to create a systemized business. And the systemized business is based on those 3 areas being systemized. And so if we break that down, and I'll tell you the 3 key areas, and then we'll kind of go into each one as we go along. So the first key area, and these aren't in any form of importance, because if you can imagine them in 3 circles, then they interlink. And so the first area is the salon, and so we use the salon as a heading. So the salon, and I'm not talking about the 4 walls, I'm talking about the whole salon as an entity. And the next key area is clients. If we look at clients, well, that's another area that's of high importance to get that right. And then the third key area is team. And so if you put those 3 areas and interlink them, and get the systems working within those areas, that's when you start to become more controlled. So let's take, for example, team. So if we look at what's central around team, it's not actually the team, it's the owner, it's you. And so what is it that's central around you? It's about leadership. And so to have a controlled salon, or a salon that looks remotely like it's got some form of control, that you're running it controlled wise, you really need to become a good leader. And so to have a great team, you need to be a great leader. So if you don't know anything about leadership, we're not born leaders. There are very few people in this world that are born a leader. There are people that are born with charisma that develop into leaders, but most of us that are leaders have to work at it, and you have to learn. Like, you had to learn how to do a basic bob haircut. You kind of have to learn how to be a leader. And so leadership is the central part around team. And so if we extract that out, well, what is leadership? And I wish I had a bit better technology where I could actually have a whiteboard and draw these things up. But right now we'll just have to try and draw the picture with words. But if you take the first stage of what is good leadership, it's about having a vision. And what is the vision that you're working towards for the business? So how does that vision interact with team? Well, why do they get out of bed in the morning? Well, why do you get out of bed in the morning and go to work? So it's about inspiring the team with the right vision, with what you're trying to achieve. And if we break that vision down, it's into sort of a creative side. Can you see my hand going out here? Because I'm
not out.
Because I can only see you.
Come in a little bit more.
Okay.
And it's opposite too.
Okay, so out this side is the creative side of the leadership, and on the other side is the inspired side of leadership. What are you inspiring the team to do? And then if we take that further out, we look at, well, why are you actually in business? What is the vision is the why. Why are you in business? And so I'm kind of paraphrasing a lot of this, because each of these steps, there are little branches off them that we would drill down into, and maybe one day we could do a 4-hour workshop where we can drill down into each section. But so the left hand, if we put a triangle, the left hand side of the triangle with leadership in the middle is vision. So on the right hand side of the triangle, we could write the word mission. So if the vision is the why, the mission is the how. So how are we going to achieve the vision? So, breaking that out, there's a methodic route of a mission. It's like, how are we going to achieve it? Here are the steps we're going to take. This is how we're going to do that. And, and that doesn't involve any part of winging it. It's about sitting down and saying, well, if we want to be, let's pick something silly. We want to be the craziest, zaniest salon in our suburb. That's our vision. And so how are we going to do that? Well, this is how we're going to dress. Every day we come to work in our most outlandish clothing. So you actually need to make steps in the process that lead you to achieving your vision. I guess there's another side to it. So you've got the methodic way, and then you've got the emotional way. You've got how do you get the team inspired with that mission? How do you get them involved? And so what steps are you going to take to actually include the team and work through that area? So, we've got vision, we've got mission. So along the bottom, the third step of the team quadrant or the circle is communication. What is your communication rhythm? How do you communicate all of the vision, the mission, and what have you to the world, I guess is the way to look at it. So most salons don't have a communication program. Communication program encompasses how you behave in the salon, how you communicate what you do in the salon, through physical communication. So if we break this down into two, the physical and the emotional. So the physical side of actually how do you behave in the salon? Because that is communication. You can tell a lot by some, here's the best way to describe this next bit. The only thing more contagious than enthusiasm is a lack of it. So what I like using that as a summary of, we are beings that recognize people's behaviors as opposed to their words. And so the way that we do things is way more communicative than what we say. And so, is anyone here, and I know I can't see your hands go up, but put your hand up if you've ever experienced a situation where you've walked out of a shop thinking they really weren't interested in talking to me. They were not even interested in helping me with anything. And it probably wasn't because they were rude. It was probably because they gave you the body language of someone that really didn't give a rat's neck, And so communication starts right at how we behave, right through to what are we doing in our marketing? How are we promoting? How are we talking to our prospective clients? So, that, I guess that summarizes the team side of the circle. We can jump into clients now if you want, or if you've got any questions around the team side. So
no questions on that so far. We've got a hi from David. So hi back, David. Nice to have you here.
David. Yeah. So if we now look at the client side, how many people here on this Facebook Live have actually sat down and drawn up a plan for what you're going to offer your clients? And I don't mean, cuts and blow waves or facial. What I mean is, how are we going to actually appreciate our clients? What are we going to do for our clients? What is our policy around the consistent delivery of what we do? What about the contact? Again, our communication. How do we deliver? How do I expect as a salon owner my team to deliver what I want them to deliver? How do I do that? What should the client expect? Do we actually invite them to return? We could call it rebooking, but all those little things. What is our policy? So sit down and spend time and actually create an outline of exactly how you want the business to address and treat and deal with clients, right from getting them to keeping them and getting them to refer their friends, becoming raving fans.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could summarize that up and say, well, it's part of the service. What's the service level that you want to produce? So if we now put our triangle back up for our clients, and we can look at one side of it, we can say, well, what part do we really need to focus on? Well, we need to look at the discipline. And I don't mean the behavior. I mean, what disciplines do we want to have in place so that we can ensure our clients are getting our very best every time we go and see them, or every time they come to see us. And so that, again, if we go out from that, we can put that into two, and we can go, part of that is the team. What disciplines do I need to have the team practicing to have the clients getting what I want them to have? And then also management. What am I doing as a manager or as the owner of the salon to actually create the disciplines that are going to allow the clients to keep coming and being happy? Yeah. What do we do as a salon? So again, we could go on and break those into more little pieces. And we will one day, but right now, just think about it. Have you even thought about it this way? So, I really encourage you to think about breaking it down and working through the areas that I'm covering. I hope you're taking notes, because I've got notes. So on the other side of the triangle is training, and you say, well, isn't training to do with team? No, I'm talking about training clients. What's your policy around how you train clients? Well, what do you mean, Malcolm? How do I train clients? Or you train, for example, to use an easy one, rebooking. Those salons that have got a really high rebooking rate, they probably don't have to try very hard at getting the client to make their next appointment now, but they probably did when they first started. But what they've got now is a whole lot of clients that are trained to make their next appointment before they leave. And so in a lot of cases, people are making appointments right through to Christmas, at the beginning of the year, they're making their 12 months of appointments. So it's training the clients, and you train them on how you want them to behave. There's a lot of talk on the wires about clients not showing up and no-shows and cancellations and what have you. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, in a lot of cases, you reap what you sow. If you're chaotic with your business, then don't expect your clients to be controlled. You attract what you put out. So clients are chaotic with their days. So if you're a chaotic business, you're going to attract chaotic people, and you've got to expect those chaotic people to not know what they're doing from one minute to the next, and they're going to change appointments, cancel appointments, forget they've got an appointment. So really, if we want to look at blame, and I don't like blaming, but just for highlighting a point, it's actually your fault that your clients cancel, because I kind of notice a lot of the people complaining are the same people. And so it's not that this is happening all over the world, it's happening to a certain number of people. So I guess, without dwelling on that, coming back to that training, is train your clients, train your team how you want them to treat them. Train your clients how you want them to behave, and you do that through modeling the behavior. So again, at the bottom of that triangle, this bit down here, we're talking about communication as a topic. And again, how are you communicating to your clients? If we break that down into two parts, is it clear, is it specific or explicit? You have to be clear and explicit on how you want your clients to behave. It's not like you send them a set of rules and say, to come here, you have to behave like this. But again, it's that modeling, and it's making sure that everyone understands this is the expected behavior.
Like, don't be late.
Be
early. Be 5 minutes early.
Yeah, it's your fault if clients show up late, because guess what? You're probably running late for them. So they've learned that, well, I don't have to be on time because my hairdresser's never on time. She's always 10 or 15 minutes late. So I've got a buffer. And then you're ready one day when your client should be there, and you're upset because she's 15 minutes late. Well, you've taught her to be 15 minutes late. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. And so on the other side of that the second stage of coming out from communication, we've got, regularity. Just be regular. How often do you communicate with your clients? Most salons say, I sent an email a few months ago and nothing really happened, so I haven't done it since. If you want people to remember you, you have to remember them, and if you want them to do certain things, you have to educate them to do that, and you can do that through regular, consistent communication. So, just that whole client area is a huge area that people could learn a massive amount of without even actually needing to talk to a client. They just could set it up so that the clients would just continually fit in. And there's a lot of salons out there that have got that right and are doing it well, but there's also a lot that are still in chaos, and clients aren't really helping. So that's the client area.
Cool.
Ooh, I feel like I'm running here. Am I talking too fast?
No, you're talking at a good pace.
Oh, good.
I hope people are taking notes, though.
I was
drawing it out.
Yeah, well, as I say, I'll try and get, for next time, I'll try and get set up where I can have two cameras or something, one on a whiteboard. But I was on a seminar once. It was online, and somebody, like the person talking, said, "Am I talking too fast?" And somebody obviously typed in or wrote in and said, "Yes, you are." And so then the host came back and said, "I don't think it's me talking too fast. I think you're listening too slow." I thought that was quite good.
That.
But anyway, So we've covered the team area, we've covered the salon area. Now, if you get those two right, the team and the salon, then you've got what I call like where the circles interloop. You've got confidence. There is confidence the clients have in the team, and the team have got confidence in the clients, and you've got confidence that it's working well. So if we now go to the third circle, that area is the actual salon area. So you go, well, what do we have to do here? That's a huge area. Well, yeah, it is, but it's not. So if we put in the center of the triangle that what we're actually after in the salon is success, then what are the three key areas that we can work on to get that success? And again, our triangle, the three sides. So the first side of the triangle is the administration side. So how do we become successful at administration? Hand up who is hopeless at administration. My hand's right up. I'm good at it. So it's either I learn to do it myself, or I have all my other areas of my business working so well that I can afford to actually get the administration side of my business done for me. So the extension of administration is you on one side and others on the other side. So, well, what do you actually need to do? And if it's you needing to do everything, then have you got a plan for how you're going to do that? Have you actually listed everything you need to do? If you haven't, that's probably why you're feeling that you're always in overwhelm and you're running behind and you've got all this to do. Oh, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. It's an area that I actually dip into, even in my business from time to time. And I don't deliberately dip into it. I just realize, oh God, I've dipped into that overwhelm again. I've got something to do. And then I just have to clear my desk, take everything out and say, right, what is it I need to do? Put it on a list and then break it down and say, right, that I can do, that I can farm out to other people. And so that's the on the other side, it's the others. What is it that other people can do? I don't do my accounts. I know about my accounts. I look through my accounts, but I don't actually do them because that's not something I'm really good at. I understand them, but I just haven't got the willpower to sit there and actually, reconcile things and do all that. So I have somebody else that does that for me, and they love doing it. So think about what you can get other people to do and what you actually can do and want to do yourself and probably need to do. There are some things that we may not like doing, but as a business owner, we still need to do it ourselves. And I hear a lot of salon owners say, I'm getting a manager. And I'm going to get them to do everything. And what they do is they get a manager and they abdicate. And they go, manager now is doing everything. The manager probably doesn't know what management's about. The manager's probably a hairdresser, put their hand up and say, well, I'd like to be a manager because I like the title. And then the salon owner goes, there's all the stuff that you're doing. The salon owner goes and catches up with her girlfriends for the first time in 100 years over lunch. Says, I've got myself a manager now. I'm having a great time. Whereas the manager now in the salon is snowed under, hasn't got a clue what they're doing. And 6 weeks down the track, the salon owner goes, she was hopeless. She was hopeless. She didn't know what she was doing. It's like, well, actually, you should have known that at the start. And so instead of abdicating everything to a manager, make sure you find out, do you need a manager? And secondly, what can you actually get them to do that they will be able to do after some training and gradually delegate work to them. So it's about delegation, not abdication. So back to our little triangle. So we've got our administration side. On this side of the triangle, we've got our marketing. Again, marketing in most salons is chaotic. I can probably say for the people on this presentation, put your hand up and tell me, or raise your hand, if you have done Facebook marketing and it hasn't worked and you've said it doesn't work, so I'm not doing it again, and you post pictures of pretty cancer or something. That's what is happening out there. Most people don't get results, so they stop doing it. Well, have you got a plan? Did you actually have a marketing plan in the first place? Do you have any thought on what you actually want to achieve with your marketing? Is it to get new clients? Is it to keep clients? Is it to sell more services? Is it to sell products? Why are you marketing? So all of this stuff sits on the right-hand side of the triangle under marketing. It's like, well, have a plan. Make sure that you get an easy, simple to do plan. The second side of that is implementation. and you might think, well, that's pretty obvious. You would want to implement your plan, but not necessarily. Some people have got plans, but they actually are just too busy cutting hair or doing treatments to actually implement it properly. So how are you going to implement it? Do you need to delegate some of the work? Testing and measuring, please don't advertise and not look at whether it worked or not. The number of salon owners that have said to me, oh, I did an ad in such and such or so-and-so. And I say, how did it go? They go, oh, I think it worked. So how much did it cost you? Well, in fact, I had a situation once where someone was spending nearly $1,000 a month on Google AdWords. And I said, how's it working? And they said, well, I don't really know. I just assumed it was. And they went and checked, and they came back and said, we've cancelled it because we got 2 new clients out of it in 8 months.
That's so much money.
2 new clients. And so don't just advertise and hope it works. Make sure it does work. And if it's not working, don't do what another client of mine did. Said, well, I'm not bloody doing that again. And she just stopped and didn't do it. It's like, look at it and say, well, what part of it may be not working? Is it the headline? Is it some of the copy? Can we change it so that we can try and get it to work? So make sure that coming back out to the overview, that you, as much as you've got your plan, you've got an implementation plan and a follow-up plan with it. So, and
try, test, and if it doesn't work, that's fine. Just try again, make an adjustment and try again. You can't just give up.
Exactly. And I'm not sure whether everyone knows here, but 85% of marketing doesn't work. 85% of anyone doesn't actually work. 15%.
Well, you can't measure it necessarily. So it is really hard, but you got to measure as much as you can and keep trying, right?
Well, yeah, like if you're part of the 85%, then you don't know what the 15% are doing. So you've got to do 100%, you've got to measure it and know that, well, 85% of what we didn't work, so we'll not do that again, but that 15% did, so let's do that and do it better. And so once you start doing things and getting results, just keep repeating that. It's not hard. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If it's working, don't change, what do they say? It ain't broke, don't fix it, Just keep doing that. But you've got to find out what the 15% is. And so that's why marketing is so hard, because you've got to go through a whole lot before you actually get something that does work.
Yeah.
But
we just got a comment from Stevie who said, test, learn, optimize. Exactly. That's exactly what marketing is. Yeah, it's all about. Just try and learn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we've got our 2 sides of the triangle here. So we've got our administration, we've got our marketing. So the other side of the salon success paradigm in the salon is PMP, policies and procedures. So, yay! But all that it goes back to the mission. It's kind of, this is how we do it. This is how we behave doing it. This is the rules of the game, if you like, how we want to play the game in our salon. And so if you haven't got a policies and procedures manual, don't sweat it. You probably have got policies and procedures. And really, I don't know that many salons that actually have got their policies and procedures manual out every day and reading through it. Essentially, you need to have it probably written down for new people coming on board so that you can onboard them with the right attitudes and introduce them and guide them into your culture, induct them into your culture. But for most salons, it's something that they learn on the job. And so as a salon owner, the best advice I can give you for policies and procedures is to model the way you want your team to behave. Make sure you are doing the things that you want your team to do. For example, classic example, and this happens today as it was happening 10 years ago, that was happening 20 years ago, that will probably be happening in 20 years' time. If you go to the desk with your client and you say to that client, oh, that was great, Sally, your hair looks good, really good to see you, let's just make that 65 today, when it should have been 75. Then do not be surprised if your team does that with their clients.
Yeah.
It is the probably biggest way that salons can put an extra $5,000 to $30,000 in their till in a year, depending on how big their salon is. Stop discounting at the till. That really is. I can't say it any clearer. But that's, for example, if your policy is we do not discount at the till, and then you discount at the till, then how much can your team look to you as the leader when you're breaking the actual cardinal rule or the first rule that should be a policy in the policies and procedures document? So, make sure that you've got the policies and procedures down that you want your salon to be based on, and then model that behaviour.
Awesome.
How are we going? We're done. Our half
Good.
hour's up.
Yeah, that went really quickly.
Yeah, I know, it does, doesn't it? I was saying
It
to
does.
at the beginning, I said, well, I haven't got enough to talk about. But I'm looking at these notes I've got, I thought, oh, that's probably about 6 weeks worth of content there. And in fact, if I can talk about that, what I'm doing at the moment, and if anyone's interested, I'd be more than happy for them to let me know, and I can let them know. I'm putting together this as a bit of a course so that I can help you if you are in chaos and you want to get into that control and you want to go through these steps a little clearer and have some help doing it. I'm going to be putting together, well, I'm in the middle of putting together a course on it. So just, I don't know, what's the easiest way to let me know you want to be?
Yeah, maybe maybe either chuck maybe a comment in the comment section, because then I know Malcolm will see that, he'll be alerted to that. Otherwise, Malcolm, we can also put your contact details or the best way that they can get in touch with you in the comments as well, so that people can do it that way too. But yeah, you're Salon Business Coach on Facebook and Instagram, aren't you?
Yeah. I think it's Salon Biz Coach or Salon Biz Coaching on Facebook and Salon Business Coach on Instagram. Or if you want to just hit me up for a friend request, I'm happy to, for that as well. So it's malcolm.j.gibbons on Facebook. Either way, yeah. Or just let Alyssa know and she can tell me.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say that's such an awesome framework that I was hoping people had been noting it down, and then they'll kind of sit down and go, okay, well, how can I improve in all of those areas? But the course will probably make it even easier. Oh, there we are. You need to go. Yeah, almost. Oh, there we go.
So kind of like that. And you can see each of the circles. Oh, look, I'm going backwards. My hand's going the wrong way. So,
but yeah, they're all linked.
Yeah. So that's how we framework it up, and that's really the framework around building the salon and to become successful, and living the life that you wanted to live when you first became a salon owner. That freedom.
For sure.
Yeah. Instead of the chain around your ankle.
Yeah.
So are there any questions?
Cool.
Anyone got any questions?
Pardon?
Has anyone got any questions?
We didn't have any questions, but we had Stevie said, just to join in the conversation, policies and procedures are now a culture manual. Keep evolving your culture manual and keep coming back to it as your main reference point. Lead from the front. So true. Never discount, just add value. Yeah. Very, very true. Yeah, I really like that style. I like what you mean, create that culture and that kind of behavior, and then your team will follow you.
And that's
it will make you so much stronger.
I'm going to show you my notes now, but that's the triangle here. Maybe I should have just done this, but a lot tidier. And that's the bottom of the team. See how it's got team up there? Leadership.
Oh, yeah.
And then the culture is the third, is the base of the triangle. So, you've got your vision, your mission, and the culture. What is it you're trying, the behavior you're wanting to have in the salon.
Yeah, cool. For sure.
Everyone's
that was so awesome, Malcolm. Thank you so much. That's I think that's the thing, you just really need that really good base, that framework, and then there's so much that you can do to improve from there. And it's about I guess choosing the areas where you need to focus first, and getting stuck in to go from chaos to control.
Yeah, and that's where that course is going to help. It's like, what do you do first? What's the next steps? Here's some templates. It's going to be quite involved. So I think it'll help. It'll help a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I will make sure I grab kind of all of Malcolm's contact details, and I'll chuck them in the comments for you guys. But yeah, please do get in touch with him. I'm sure that will be the most amazing course. And so thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all of your comments today. It's been awesome. And thank you so much, Malcolm, for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Fun. Thanks, Alyssa.
Cool. Awesome. And we'll see you guys on our next Facebook Live, hopefully.
See you later.
See you, everyone.
Bye.